Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. Welcome back to Ham Radio Live. Please subscribe. I don't monetize the channel. I do this to give back and help people in ham radio as well as shortwave. And today is a big, big show. We're going to talk about the end of a legend in ham radio. Also going to talk about digital modes as well as a rant about what the heck is going on 40 meters. For goodness sakes. I mean, what in the heck is going on here? It's time for somebody in amateur radio to step up and say something. Away we go. Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. My name's Larry. My call sign's Kilo 7 Hotel November. Whole purpose of the channel here is to help you get licensed and on the air. Many radio clubs around the world can help you do that. One of them is the American Radio Relay League. Find them online at www.arl.org. Hit the Contact Us bar and tell them where you are. They'll find a radio club near you. Then contact the radio club, and they'll help you to get on your path to get your license. Same thing with any one of these other radio groups, like the RSGB in Great Britain. You can find them at www.rsgb.org. Great group, great mates, and they're so solid. They'll really help you get your license and also connect with people who are helpful to help you get your license. In Canada, the Radio Amateurs of Canada are available, www.rac.ca. In Japan, the Japan Amateur Radio League at www.jarl.org. In Australia, the Wireless Institute of Australia at www.wia.org. If you'd like to email the show, have a show suggestion, possibly an idea or a question about a product, please hit me up at cqhamradiolive@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support the channel, please do. Our PayPal address is proburbs356@me.com. Want to thank Hamtest Online for their generous help with helping you get yourself a ham radio license. We use Hamtest Online as well as their copyrighted material, literally, to help teach you. Now, we'll give you little bits and pieces from them that will help you understand the basics of ham radio. But you need to go there, really, because if you sign up, not only do you get a free trial, but also they have a money-back guarantee. Take a look at the top corner. 100% refund if you fail the test. Hamtest Online. Find them online. The description section will have the link. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is the 18th day of August 2021. We're going to open the show by saying hello to my brother Bob, courtesy WIFI. Welcome to the show, Bob. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, Bob, as always. Also, Ishmael in the house from Dominica. Hello, guys, from DXCC's favorite. That's Dominica. He's really good. I mean, talk about Island on the Air to get. Dominica is small, but a great island on the air, and he loves to work. Look for him. Juliet 72, India Mike Sierra. Yep. He's literally got his own niche in this show now with the trivia questions. Guy's amazing. Doing a great job. Let's start with the news, and I'm going to get on a rant, so bear with me, okay? Just if you have to cover your ears, cover your ears, okay? Radio Club of Haiti president reports significant structural damage from earthquake. This earthquake that happened on the 14th was a 7.2 magnitude quake, and the IARU Region 2 emergency frequencies are asked to be remained clear of, people using them just to make calls and people using them to jam them. The frequencies, 3750, 7150, and 14330. Okay, this is a serious issue, a very serious issue. Yet right in the middle of it, here's our dear friends in Cuba. All right, take a look at this. Take a look at 7.150. Right there, 7.150. Take a look at exactly what's going on here. And look at the jamming that's happening here. From 7.4 all the way to 7.63 is completely jammed. And people in the U.S. who are trying to get information to help these people in Haiti, they literally cannot help them because all they're hearing is this. This is Cuba, the island of Cuba, jamming the frequency at 7.160. That is exactly what's happening right now. Why in the heck do we not have a government that at least tries to do something about it? Okay, I get it. The FCC in July said they were going to look into the report, the alleged jamming. Oh my gosh. Any ham radio operator can tell you it's coming from Cuba. We triangulate the signal a dozen times here on this channel, but nothing's done. I'm just going to say this because I'm sick of it. My dogs have a higher IQ than our president does right now in our country. Truly, truly. I am so frustrated about this because people can't get out an emergency frequency at 7.150 because of what's happening with Cuba. For gosh sakes, do something so they can get their word out, so they can get help. That's what's needed right now. And yet, I mean, that would be like somebody blocking 911, the 911 service to your home, right? You can't call 911 because somebody's messed it up. That's what's happening, and we've got to help these people in Cuba. Doggone it. Come on, U.S. government, get your head in gear and get this thing done so we can finally get people help there in in Haiti, because they need it. Plus, tropical storms and hurricane season. My gosh. I'm sorry to go on a big rant like this, but when I see news like this, and I see jamming like this, and I see nothing done, it absolutely infuriates me. Cuban jamming right now. Look, 7.106. This out of Boca Raton this morning on a simple cell phone. You can check this yourself. 7.115, 7.126, 7.125, 7.140, and in red, 7.150. The emergency frequency for IARU Region 2. Blocked, jammed. You cannot get out. 7.158. That one is so stinking wide. Take a look at 7.158. Look at this. It's terrible. There's 7.216. Here's 7.158. It completely moves over to 7.15. You can't use anywhere from 7.147 to 7.163 because it's completely jammed. It's terrible. 7.158 as well, 7.178 and 7.216. The 7.216 has over an S6 into South Florida with over 25 kilohertz of jamming. It's absolutely ridiculous. Come on. I mean, we've had enough failures now, President Biden. It's time to have something go right, okay? And if you're gonna let immigrants come in through our southern border like a sieve, then at least accept Cuban refugees as well, because they're fighting for liberty instead of letting things go the way they are. All right, let's get back to the news. Sorry, folks. It just infuriates me that we live in a country that has double standards, and I'm sick of it. And I think a lot of Americans join me in that. So this will probably be a very hotly contested video. I'm cool with that because I'm tired of seeing our country deteriorate. I'm tired of spending, $1.30 more a gallon for gas and spending more money for groceries too. That's just another story. Special event news this weekend in the UK. It's International Lightship and Lighthouse Weekend. Many lighthouses and lightships will be activated. Please try and work them, okay? FCC, remember they're talking about the fees, $35. It was going to be $50. The ARL negotiated it down to $35. It's not going to be till next year, all right? And the way it's going to work is you take your test, or if you want to upgrade your license, your call sign. For example, you want a vanity call, right? You can do that, but it'll be a $35 fee next year. So if you want a vanity call or get into ham radio, now's the time to do it. Do it before they charge you the $35. You're still going to have to pay for the licensing test, which is, normal, but you won't have to pay an additional $35. After this goes into effect, you're literally going to, pay for your test, and then the VEC will submit your test score to the FCC. FCC then is going to email you, and you're going to have 10 days to pay the $35. Once you do that, and your license appears in the FCC ULS database, you have yourself a ham radio license, and you can make calls. Pretty cool, right? Let's get a trivia question today on the show. What is the commercial designation of the U.S. Army Signal Corps BC-610 transmitter? Okay, so the commercial designation of this transmitter, was it A, the Johnson Viking Ranger, B, the World Radio Century, C, the Hallicrafters HT4, or D, Collins DX10? hit me up with A, B, C, or D, and we'll let you know the answer. Let's get into the weather powered by ICOM. ICOM, for the love of ham radio. Here's your A1A. You see those bright spots in the top right corner. That'd be basically, if you're looking, at a compass, it would be northeast part of the sun. Those were the bright spots causing us to get a solar number, and they're disappearing. Okay, so our A1A is starting to weaken. That means sunspot numbers are weakening to our ionosphere. Solar conditions have been very stable the last 2 days, so that's good. No conditions, solar flare, so no CME ejections are expected. So HF conditions should remain stable. Your KP index is up to K2. It's been between K2 and K1, so quiet conditions and very stable. So we should have good conditions for you to make calls. MUF around the world, Alaska with a 15.38, Brazil 20.52, Ascension Island 19.89, Athens, Greece at 18.16, Jeju Island waking up to 12.57, and Darwin, Australia at 9.02. Current conditions, SFI 74. Look at the solar number, down 10 now, down from 23 to 13. So it's because of the sunspots from the A1A moving out of range. So, of course, we have a lower solar number. That's SN at the top left corner. A index of 5, K is 1. That means very quiet, good conditions. And you see, EME degrees for moon bounce, very poor today. I do believe today you should be able to get 6 and 4 E-skip. I think you'll get it. As for HF conditions, let's take a look at the forecast. Powered by ICOM. ICOM, for the love of ham radio. Daytime ham radio bands open today will be for voice 20 and 17 only. That'll be the only ones. Now, of course, 40 will work for you, just short distance. Data will work 30 to 10 meters. Nighttime ham band openings at 160, 80, 75, 60, 40, 30, and a 90% chance of 20 meters open till about now after sunset local time. Then it will slowly fade away. Shortwave bands for you folks, 31, 25, 22, and 19 meters today. Shortwave bands tonight, 120, 90, 75, 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22, and a 90% chance of 19 meters open until about an hour after sunset. Then those signals will fade away. Welcome to Ham Radio Live, the 18th of August, 2021. We're going to take a look at one of the viewers that comes here a lot. And I tell you, he does a lot of DX work, and the guy does it remotely. And that's the hardest thing to do in amateur radio. We're also going to look at the death of a ham radio legend today. And I'm not talking about a human being. I'm talking about a radio. We're going to talk about the demise of the Yaesu FTDX 5000. But first, let's hear from Gunter, DK5 ONV, all the way in Wiesbaden, Germany. Hey, Gunter.
Harry, K7HN, DK5 ONV stroke portable, Northeastern Hills, the sun is down right there behind. You see those clouds right there? This is the west. There's the baby, not really straight, because we are on a rock, on top of a rock, with just some gentle vegetation on it, some grass on it. This is rock, this is solid rock. It's so hard to drive that metal down in the ground, and even to drive in your nails for the paracords and stuff. So yeah, it was 94 degrees. Right now it's down. We are down at 86. The temperature is falling dramatically, and yeah, I'm ready to work Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike, and also Tom A92GW. Happy weekend into the Independence, Oregon. There's my bike. I already had the 2 visitors, fat ass hornets. I killed them. I don't fuck around, because I don't want them to call their friends, and they're showing up in like hordes, 500 or 1,000, and yeah, they're gonna hospitalize you definitely. And I don't like that, you know. I don't need any hospitalization, you know. 73s, Larry.
There you go. That's Gunter DK5ONV. Sorry for the language there. I thought I had it, but not quite. Gunter, nice to hear from you in Germany. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. As always, thank you very, very much. All right, we're going to talk about the demise of a legend. Now, it is very rare In fact, this may be the very first time in ham radio history that a number one ranked transceiver has been kicked out of production. Let's take a look at Sherwood. All right. Sherwood, you see here, these are just the top 14. All right. Just the top 14. You see the bottom barely, it's the FTDX 5000. All right. So you see the radios above it. All right. So number 14. When you get to, other, like, let's say, for example, you get to ARL, their, ratings on QST, it's number one. The Yaesu FTDX 5000D. Now, keep in mind, it's been around since December of 2010, but it's the number one ranked receiver in ham radio. Take a look at QST's 5. This is back from 2010. Key measurements of the 5000. And let's take a look at what their final bottom line is. An extraordinary transceiver for the discerning contester or DXer. This one will become the gold standard for operators seeking the best received performance and best value in its class. Yaesu announcing the FTDX 5000 is out of production. And that's too bad. That's one of the best transceivers ever made. And I'll be honest, I had the use of the FTDX 10, the 991A. I've had just about every ham radio, by the grace of God, you can get and test. And when I go to use a radio, when I want to have fun, when I want to really enjoy ham radio, that's the radio I use. It's the FTDX 5000. I realize there are 3 options for it, really expensive, the MU tuners. And by the way, if you want those, get them quick because they're not going to be available very long. Those MU tuners are available for 160, 80 and 40, and 30 and 20. They act similar to VC Tune on the 101D and MP. They basically are a way to attenuate signals and help you pick up rare DX. It's a sad day. The Yaesu FTDX 5000 out of production from Yaesu. And again, that's news from Yaesu. So there you go. All right, we're going to talk about digital modes. Digital modes can go the gamut. They really can. Some people would consider CW digital. I don't. I consider CW its own entity because it's been here since the very beginning. But there are many digital modes. Some people would say RTTY is a digital mode. But let's talk about things like FT8, okay? We'll talk about JT65. What about Olivia? The thing about FT8 and JT65 is it's really contact to contact. There's no communication really involved in either of those digital modes. You simply make contact and you say, great, I worked that grid square, and that's it. Let's take a look. Now, this is really cool. I want to share this. First of all, this is a youth on the air, and her energy and excitement are off the charts. I'm really proud of this young lady. Take a look at her. She's doing a scientific experiment on her own about hunting and pouncing or calling CQ using FT8. Check it out.
Super highly technical stuff. You got some basis, so you kind of understand more of what's going on. So he's just going to give me a super quick explanation of what FT8 is, and then we'll jump right into the action. Residential OM, are you ready?
I am ready.
And we're twinning because we're just awesome like that.
Totally planned.
Yes.
All right, so FT8 is a digital mode. It relies on the FSK, MFSK, frequency keying algorithm that already existed a little bit. Joe Taylor and friends worked on it, made it a little bit better, a lot better. It also uses your time clock so that on your side you know to expect to receive something during a certain time frame, and on their side they know that they can send. And then the opposite is also true. On their side they know that they can receive something from you, and you know that you can be sending it. So you've got to make sure your clock on your computer is in sync. You've got to make sure you have the right software from, I guess there's a couple of different pieces of software you can use, but the most popular one is WSJT-X.
Which is what we're using.
Which is what we're using. You need a sound card, which is built into the 7300. You need a USB cable to connect it to the 7300. You need a computer, which we're on. And then you start tuning things around and making some settings changes until everything dials in appropriately. And that's what we did with the other YouTube videos that we saw. So, get after it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, let's get this party started. Here we are. I got everything pulled up on the screen. I've got WSJT-X over here. grid tracker over here, and a graph over here, and of course my lovely face right where you can't see my mouse. So my plan for this is simple. I'm going to go for 20 minutes. 10 of those minutes I'm going to be calling CQ. 10 of those minutes I'm going to be hunting and pouncing. At the end, I'll count up all the grid squares and see how everything ended up. I have a bit of a hypothesis, as all good scientific experiments should have, but no spoilers. So we'll see if my expectation comes true. First 10 minutes on the clock, we're going to be calling CQ. What it'll do is it receives for the first 15 seconds. You can see the CQs over here. And then it sends for 15 seconds. So it should send next. CQ KD9LFZ in my grid square, which is EN35. You can see I'm the only person in my grid square calling right now on 20 meters. There was a couple other people earlier, but right now I'm the only one. Ooh. Okay, so he heard me. And he's going to say my call sign, his call sign, and his grid square, which he is all the way down here in Oklahoma, or Arkansas, whichever one. And then I said, okay, you are a -1 as a signal report, -1 decibels. And now I'm receiving, so we'll see if he says something back. He did! He said, we're -11, so now we're sending Roger, Roger 73. You can see it just cycles through all of these. And once it gets down here, it'll say CQ KD9LFC again. So we made our first contact. Not even a minute and a half in.
How about that? That's Leah and her call sign, KD9LFZ, all the way in Luck, Wisconsin. That's fantastic. Leah, great job. Youth on the Air, experimenting with lots of different modes. Now, she's done SSB, CW, her dad's teacher, and she is really a great kid. You can really see the energy in all of this. So her experiment continues. Now let's see what happens when she does hunt and pounce.
Now, here we are going to be chasing CQs, which is slightly more difficult just because I don't have as much skill. I'm going to pick the person who we can hear the best, so only -4. Because that means he probably has a better chance of hearing us. Someone else is also calling not calling CQ, but... Is this the guy we're talking to? No. KD6HWI. Oh, he's right over here. Cool. We just got someone there. We should be able to get him. So we call CQ. We're saying his call sign, our call sign, and where we're located. And now we're receiving. See if we can get it. He did hear us, so we're gonna say Roger the -6. He's -6. We're -6 for him as well. Now let's see what he says. He says Roger Roger 73. Okay, so we have yet another contact.
There you go. Woo! That's Leah doing good. KD9 LFC. Wow, that's great. Cool to see young people really trying new stuff, and that's what she's doing. She's trying FT8, and her experiment is to see if it's more, beneficial to call CQ or to chase and pounce, right? She's trying to see which works better. Well, what did she find out in this experiment? We got to find out the answer. Here's Leah, Kilo Delta 9, Lima Foxtrot Zulu from Wisconsin, with her results.
I swear, I have not been recording for hours, but it just got dark outside, so I had to turn a light on. But the results are in, and the winner is both of them, surprisingly. So CQ calling, I got 3 full contacts in the 10 minutes, and the search and pounce, I got 2.5-ish, almost 3 contacts. Who knows if the last one was actually contact. I asked my dad, he said it's a big debate over whether the RR73 is the end, or whatever. For my purposes, I'm counting it as a contact, just for the purposes of the experiment, but you're welcome to decide it is whatever it is. So, because they were the same amount of efficiency within a 10-minute time period, who knows about if it was like 2 hours, who knows. But within the 10-minute time period, there's the same amount of efficiency, which for me, it then comes down to how fun was it? So CQ calling, I mean, it was fun, but like you also just sat there and waited for it to run through the line, so it wasn't as much fun. For me, searching and pouncing, there was a lot more involvement for it. You had to see like how loud each of them were, who you had the best chance of getting, and then you had to make sure you weren't talking over someone else, because we're polite here in ham radio, folks, aren't we? So it was a lot more involved with the search and pounce, so I liked that better. Overall, FT8 was super fun to do, and I loved doing this experiment.
That was cool. That was Leah, Kilo Delta 9 Lima Foxtrot Zulu from Luck, Wisconsin, checking out FT8. That's pretty neat. Now, for people who are new, FT8 is just literally contact. It's all you. You're seeing how well your transmitted signal goes out. You don't want to use too much power. That's really important because your transmitter's on quite a bit of time at one time. So you want to keep your power limit low. Before we go any further, I do want to say some quick highs. Mike, Kilo Delta 2, Sierra X-Ray Delta, welcome. Jacksonville, Florida is in the house. Adesh is here from the Trinidad area of the Caribbean. Adesh, it's always an honor to have you. Tom is also here from Saudi Arabia. Alpha Echo 1, Tango Papa, Alpha 92, Golf Whiskey in Bahrain. Welcome to Ham Radio Live, guys. Good to see you. All right, so there's FT8. And of course, FT8 is just about making contacts, so you're seeing how far you can reach. A little different than whisper mode, just a little bit, because it requires your computer to do different things to make the call work, right? You're looking for the RRR to make.
So we're going to go ahead and select here. Now this waterfall should start to reflect actual accurate data. Right now it's not. This
Right.
is.
So basically, JT65 kind of works the same as FT8. Okay, you're looking for a specific area. You put your receive bandwidth area in the area where those signals are, whether it be JT65, JT9. If you're using FT8, FT4, you put your receiver within that area and you start receiving people who are using it. Okay, again, it's point-to-point communication. There's no texting between the two of you. There's no interaction. It's simply a communications method to see how far you can work or how many grid squares you can work. There are awards for things like that. That's part of the coolness of ham radio. It's a different way to use your radio. Well, we talked to it before. Ham radio is the originator of text messaging. I don't know if you know that. Here's a good example of just one of the text messaging ways that ham radio works. It's done with FL Digi, which is a free program. You can get it anywhere on the internet. Both Mac and Linux and Microsoft will work for it. So FL Digi is free. Or if you've got Ham Radio Deluxe, which will cost you a little bit, you can use it there too. This is called Olivia. Olivia is similar to Thor, similar to Hellschreiber, similar to Hellfield, all of those. But it allows you to text back and forth. Now, it's different than CW. CW requires something like this. It require like a paddle or require a key. When you're using digital modes, your radio essentially connects directly to your computer and your computer digitally talks with the radio. And the radio transmits a encoded signal out, which another radio can pick up, and you can talk back and forth. Let's take a look at one of those digital modes. It's called Olivia. If you take a look down at the bottom of the screen, you can see the message coming in, and you can also hear the sound of Olivia. I want to thank official SWL channel for this. This is simply monitoring Olivia on 20 meters. As you can see, the signal comes through, and he basically talks back and forth. You can do this back and forth on things like Olivia on Hellschreiber, Thor. Many different digital modes allow you to talk on ham radio using your radio as a transmitter and your computer as the tool to text message back and forth, back and forth. It's a wonderful way that you can do things like this on ham radio. This is Olivia. So you kind of see how it works and also how it sounds. That's it. So Olivia, a great way that you can communicate simply by the power of your keyboard, which is pretty darn cool, right? Just grab your keyboard, pick it up, show it, and you're good. And like I picked it up and then it went kind of crazy there. I'm like, wait, what happened? Where'd I go? So here is Olivia, and this is exactly what it looks like. And now I'm getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So the heck with that. Just grab your keyboard. Make your calls. Simple. And you can make calls all over the world. As good as your ham radio works with a microphone, you can do actually better with digital modes because they're typically able to go right at the noise floor. So for young hams or people who are getting into ham radio, the area where the static is, okay, these signals can actually be below the static level. You can't hear them, but your radio can. It's pretty fantastic. Digital mode, something to check out in ham radio. And that's only 3. There are dozens of different digital modes out there that people can try and have enjoyed for a long, long time. Hello to Lizzie, my dear friend Fred. Welcome. Man, it's been a long time. Wow. It's really good to see you, Fred. I hope you and the family are well. Also, Gunter, thank you for your kind words to my family. I appreciate that very much. All right, folks, we're going to close the show up now. I know it's kind of short. Wanted to make it really about the demise of a very special radio, the FTDX 5000. Yaesu discontinuing production of the radio now. Only the current inventory at stores are where you will find it, okay? Now, I did do some checking on this. DX Engineering has some available. So does Gigaparts, okay? But the only way you can get a Gigaparts is through their warehouse. Ham Radio Outlet is sold out. Okay, so for the FTDX 5000, your options are getting shorter and shorter. If you want what currently still ARL says is the #1 receiver made, well, your time is short. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live. I don't monetize the channel. I actually do it for fun. I really do. I do it to give back to people in amateur radio. And I thank you sincerely for watching. You know, you can get into amateur radio pretty darn easily. You really can. Fred, you're right. It is a legendary receiver. It's my favorite. It really is. It's the one that I hope never leaves right there. It really is. If you'd like to get an amateur radio, contact someone like the Wireless Institute of Australia. Hit the contact us bar. You don't have to be in Australia. Just tell them where you are. They'll find a radio club near you that you can contact and help you get into amateur radio. Good online course in the U.S. to study for your test. Ham Test Online, they guarantee you will pass your test or you will get a money-back guarantee. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live today. We do have, by the way, I did take a look real quick at the answers for the trivia question. Trivia question today was a tough one, and I didn't think anyone would get it. Here it is. What is the commercial designation of the U.S. Army Signal Corps BC-610 transmitter? All right, was it A, the Johnson Viking Ranger, B, the World Radio Century, C, the Helicrafters HT4, or D, the Collins DX10? And right out of the blue comes Ishmael out of Islands on the Air. C, Ishmael, you are correct. Congratulations, my friend. You did it. Islands on the Air now takes the lead 5-4 over North America and Europe. I'm going to give some European questions. We're going to get you back in this game. We're going to close the show. My name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live. Appreciate you being here. Until next time, a great sign off. We always end the show with a sign off. This is a radio show about broadcasting, period. We have fun talking radio, but we end with the classic TV sign off. From Los Angeles, this is KNBC Channel 4. Until next time, wherever you may be, God bless you, and goodbye, everybody.
This is Channel 4, KNBC, the national broadcasting company in Los Angeles. Our transmitter is located on Mount Wilson, California, at an elevation of more than 6,170 feet. Until we return to the air with our first program tomorrow morning, speaking for the staff and management of KNBC, we wish you all a very pleasant good night.
Do you know the emergency phone for San Francisco General?
Yes, I do.
Well, why don't you call them right now and have them send down an ambulance? Tell them there's 2 sorry-looking assholes here with multiple contusions and various abrasions and broken bones.